With your Voice Over Match Dailicast for today, Wednesday, July 17th, I'm Chris Lanning from NeighborhoodStage.com. Again, all this week, I've been talking about why I think the voiceover industry is both easy and hard. Now, in today's episode, I'll talk about some things you can do when you have very little money to spend on your voiceover career. Now, one of the other questions I'm sure some of you are asking is, what about spending a ton of money? Don't I need to spend a lot of money to be successful? The truth is, you can spend very little, spend a fair amount, or if you have the money, invest heavily in doing it right. So what's that look like? Well, if you don't have very much to spend, go back to, like I said, do-it-yourself demo, watch the free online training, listen to podcasts, and then you're probably going to want to start with marketplace sites that are primarily free to you. Now, you have to be cautious because a lot of the sites will say you can get on there for free. But when you're on there for free, you don't really get promoted, you don't get seen, you don't get to do auditions. So that free is really not very free. But there are sites that I've run across. One in particular is VoiceBunny. Now, VoiceBunny does not seem to charge you for being on their platform. However, you do need to pass an audition with them. And they are pretty strict on their quality. I know when I initially went on my first audition there, it got rejected. But they told me what needed to be fixed. I went back, I fixed it, I submitted, and I got approved. Now, to be honest with you, I've not gotten very many invitations because the way VoiceBunny works is they send you an invitation to bid on a particular job. And they also run contests, so they may pay you a couple dollars to enter the contest. And then if you win the contest, the client picks you, then you'll get the certain amount that was laid out for that. But again, I've gotten very few invitations and quite frankly, have not won anything with it yet. However, I also don't have all the demos that they want you to have. They want you to have samples of many different types. I haven't taken the time to do that, so maybe that's the reason. One of these days, I'll sit down and do that, and maybe we'll see if it works better. The other thing with VoiceBunny is they are very strict on quality. I mean, extremely strict. I had an invitation a couple weeks ago, and I did it. I recorded it, and to be honest with you, it sounded better than a lot of the stuff that I've even won jobs with on other things. I mean, it really was pristine quality. They rejected it. They claimed that there was some lip smacking and some background noise. So I listened through it. I'm not hearing it. Listened again. I had my headphones on, had the volume cranked up. Wasn't hearing either of those. Finally, I did hear one thing that sounded a little bit like a lip smack. It actually turned out it was just my headphones creaking a little bit. So I can understand them picking that up. But again, it was so quiet, it was hardly noticeable. The other thing was the rumble they kept talking about. I could not find it. I even took those quiet areas where I wasn't talking, and I ran an audio level scan on it. And it was showing that its average volume was negative 70 dB. Well, if you don't know anything about that, that's actually much quieter than is required with audiobooks. And audiobooks have a really strict standard on the quietness in the background. This was well below that because audiobooks say it has to be negative 60 or less. This was negative 70. I was not hearing the rumble. Finally, I took a section of it and I turned up the volume by like 25 decibels. I mean, really cranked up the volume. Then I could just start to hear a little bit of rumble. I think it was from a freezer or something a couple of rooms away. But really, honestly, I don't think anybody normally would have found that. And it was so quiet, I don't think it would have shown up in any production. But VoiceBunny did, and so I got rejected on that one. So they are very strict on their quality standards. Still to come this week on the Voice Over Match podcast, I'm going to talk about things you should do when you do have some or even a lot of money to spend on your voiceover career. And I'll finally get to why I think the voiceover industry is very hard to be successful in. Now, you can hear the previous daily cast for this week by going over to the Voice Over Match Facebook page, the Voice Over Match YouTube channel, or if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, Chris Lanning, Lanning, I'm posting audiograms of the Voice Over Match Dailycast there as well. With your Voice Over Match Dailycast for today, I'm Chris Lanning from NeighborhoodStage.com. Have a great day.